Hello friends, I am here with very important topic, that is difference between test scenario and test cases. This request was raised by some of my subscribers, so I am here and making the video for this. So let's start. Test scenario versus test cases. Before actually starting this topic, let's see some fundamental about the software testing. So the first point about software testing is software testing is a critical process. In the development of any software application. Second point, you can say two commonly confused terms are test scenario and test cases. This is fact that these two topics are always confusing. So let's see in detail. So like first point, software testing is a critical process in development of any software application. You know that testing play a very important role to make any software successful. Second point, these two terms like test scenario and test cases are very confusing with each other. So let's see actually what is test scenario. Test scenario. Test scenarios mainly focus on what to test rather than how to test. So, test scenarios focus on what to test. What to test. Second point, test scenarios are high level document describing the features. So test scenario is a high level document describing the feature. Third point, a single test scenario can contain multiple test cases. A single test scenario can contain multiple test cases. Test cases. So I think this is very clear. Scenario focus on what to test rather than how to test. This is high level document describing the features, and a single test scenario definitely can contain more than one test cases. So this is something about the test scenario. So basic thing about the test scenario is what to test. Okay. Now let's see about the test cases. Test cases. So the first point for the test case is like test cases focus on what to test and how to test. Test cases focus on what to test and how to test. Second point, test case is a low-level document which contains the features in detailed manner. So, test case is a low-level document. Third point, like test case can contain test case ID, test scenarios, test steps to reproduce, expected result and actual result. So you can say test case can contain test case ID, test scenario, test description, steps to reproduce, expected result and actual result. Moreover, test case can also contain some more columns like result, comment and so on. So you can see here test case document generally contains the detailed description like how to test the application. Okay, what to test, definitely this is the part of test cases also. So test case like what to test and how to test. So definitely we are defining the steps in detailed manner. So that is the major difference between test cases and test scenarios. Okay, test scenario means what to test, test cases means what to test and how to test. Responsibility for writing the test scenarios as well as test cases are done by QA testers. Generally we people write the test cases. A QA generally write the test scenario and test cases. Okay, so let's try to understand with an example like how actually this is differ. Okay, so for this I'm just drawing a diagram and we'll try to explain in detailed manner. So let's see, this is a login page. Okay, here there is a username field, your password field, and here is a login button. There is a link for forget password. So this can be an example of any web pages, like it contains username, password, login button and forget password field. Okay, so let's try to start writing the test scenario, then test cases. So scenario will be what? Test scenario. So the first scenario will be check login functionality. We are not mentioning any steps, anything else more. Just we are mentioning that check the login functionality. How you will check the login functionality, that is the part of test cases document. So first scenario will be check the login functionality. Second scenario can be check the functionality of forget password. So check forget password functionality. Okay, So this is the test scenario, like what to test. Here we can test login functionality as well as forget password. So this is something which is actually showing what to test in this login page. So this is test scenario, and also you can take some more scenarios, like there is a payment gateway page. So for any payment gateway page, you can write a test scenario like check the payment functionality of the application. And suppose there is a catalog page. So for writing the test scenario for catalog page, you can write check the functionality of catalog page of any application. So simply under test scenario we are mentioning what to test. Okay, so that is something about the test scenarios. Now let's see what the test cases. So definitely test case having some particular format. So test case containing test case ID, test scenario, test description, test steps, expected result, actual result, and more column can be result, comment, attachment, like that. So just I am writing a single test case like TC001, test case 1. Scenario, I am referring the scenario like check login functionality. Login functionality. So test description, like one case can be that verify that user is able to log in successfully when providing correct username and password. That can be a test case. So verify that user is able to log in successfully with correct username and password. That will be a test case. But test scenario for this case would be check the login functionality. So test step like launch the application, launch the app, provide correct username and password. Third step will be click on login button. Click on login button. Expected result, user should be able to log in successfully with correct username and password. Okay, I am talking about the second test case now. So test case 002. Test case 002. Again the test scenario will be check the login functionality. Test description can be like verify that user is not able to log in successfully when providing correct username and incorrect password. Okay, test step, launch the application, provide correct username and incorrect password. Click on login button. So expected result would be user should not be able to log in. Okay. Third test case can be for the third test cases scenario will be check the login functionality. Test description will be verify that user is not able to log in successfully when providing incorrect username and correct password. So with all combination of user ID and password, correct and incorrect, we are writing so many test cases. So with help of test cases, we are actually able to test any functionality in detailed manner. So that is something about, so that is the main differences about the test cases and test scenarios. Okay. So let actually see the difference between test scenario and test cases into tabular format. So here I am writing test scenario, and here I am writing test cases. Scenario, focus on what to test. What to test. Focus on. Okay, test cases, what to test, and how to test. How to test. This is the focus of test cases. So this is first. Second point, right? Test scenario derived, test scenario are generally written with the help of BRS and SRS document. You can say BRS or SRS document. So test scenarios written with the help of BRS, business requirement specification, or SRS, software requirement specification. Test cases are written based on test scenarios. Test scenarios require less number of resource and hours. Okay, test cases require high number of resources and hours. Fourth point, test scenario is a high level document. Test case is a low level document. So I think this will help you to make your confusion very clear, like what the actual difference between test cases and test scenarios. Okay, so these are the major differences between test cases and test scenarios. So both responsibility are taken care by the QA team. Okay, so you can say test cases are written based on test scenarios, and test scenarios are written based on BRS and SRS document. Okay, so that was something about the test cases and test scenarios. So that's all about this topic, my friends. So if you like this video, okay, subscribe my channel and keep watching the upcoming videos, and I hope these videos will help you to improve your skills in IT industry. Thanks a lot.